It's a Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. I don't know if you guys get excited about Wednesdays, but I get excited about Wednesdays, mostly because we have Collective Live. So tune in tonight at 6:30 for Collective Live. But before you do that, we're going to jump into one of our daily Devos here. And we're going to be looking at the book of Romans. And specifically, we're going to be looking at verses 22 through 25. Now, in this section of Romans that we're going to be looking at and studying and talking about right now, it talks about God's law and sin. So the literally like title is the law and sin. And so let's start in verse 22 here. It says this, "For in my inner being I delight in God's law, but I see another law at work in me, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner to the law of sin at work within me. What a wretched man I am! Who will rescue me from this body that is subject to death? Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then I, myself, in my mind, am a slave to God's law, but in my sinful nature a slave to the law of sin." And as I'm reading this and as I'm like thinking about this, it just reminds me of that we are humans. We as humans are naturally attracted to the things that we don't have. And that can cause us to sin. And what that means is in verse 22, when it says, "For in my inner being I delight in God's will," like we were created in God's image and we delight in his will. But, there's a but there, but he said, "But I see another law at work in me. And this law is waging war against the law on my mind and making me a prisoner to the law of sin at work within me." I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where like you knew that you shouldn't do something, but you did it anyway. I know that I've been in that situation where it's like, hey man, you probably shouldn't do that, or you probably shouldn't say that, or you probably shouldn't act like that, but we do it anyway. And that's like the law of sin that is waging war inside of us. So I would encourage you guys today to sit down and really just focus on Jesus and God's law and following his commandments. I would also encourage you guys as well as me, I'm encouraging myself here in this moment as well, to really just sit down and be able to know where sin starts and where God's law starts. And what I mean by that is, I would love for all of us to be like, hey, like I know that I shouldn't do this, and this is the point where I become super weak in making decisions or speaking like that or acting like that, and be able to find that line so that way when those situations come, you're like, hey, no, I know that I have to stay away from this because I know that it's going to lead me down a sinful path. Collective Youth, I love you, and I hope this Devo was helpful for you in your walk with God today. I love you, and I'll see you later.